Here in the Philippines, the race towards the next presidential election starts well before the campaign period. And the nuances and alliances and rifts can separate the winners from the losers. To help us divide or dive into those bonds and make sense of this all, we have in the studio with us political analyst Malou Tiquia. Hi, Malou.
Hi, Jing. Hi, Mark.
So where are we? We're looking at a political party that has no standard bearer.
Yes.
The president met with Malou, Senator Grace Poe, Senator Chis Escudero the other night, and there's still no word. Coming out of that meeting, what they said was we're all waiting for the voice of the people. We will be guided by the voice of the people. What's your take about that statement, which was released by Senator Poe?
Yeah, I think they're referring to surveys.
Okay.
Why? Because the two-digit advance of Senator Poe is just one survey reading.
Okay.
You need 3 survey readings to say there's stability in the numbers.
Okay.
And then there are certain things that have not been measured, such as the resignation of the Vice President, the speech he made about the administration, and then the launch of UNA. So these things have not been factored in. And essentially what happens during pre-campaign is really testing the messages. There have been several messages being tested. Some were very supported by the public. The rest, the recent one, which is removing the term limits, is something boiling these days in social media and may not resonate well to others.
I may be wrong, but from what I'm seeing is that it is the president himself who is choosing who the standard bearer and not the party. I may be wrong. I don't know if they're meeting behind the scenes that we don't know about, the LP leadership.
I think they did. Last night, the president, I think, met with the leaders.
Last night?
Last night.
But before last night, would you know if he met with...
No. Essentially, I see it as one way of trying to make buoyant the endorsement value. You see, Jing, these things, in previous elections, selection of standard bearer is done through open convention.
Right.
And there is a provision in the election code that requires an open convention to select your tandem, your ticket. I think here we see the fact that there is one presumptive who is an original Liberal Party, and there are 2 who are independents. Who availed of the coalition that LP had in 2013.
Okay.
The reason why I think it is being made very public is to ensure that the endorsement factor is pretty much up. When the president said, I will make known whom I'm going to endorse after the SONA, I think he's going to make a very, very clear case of his accomplishments, what remains to be done. So business muna before the politics. So he's separating that.
But that's telling me 2 things. First, he is choosing just from Marojas, Grace Poe, and Chis Escudero.
It looks like that.
Okay, looks like that. But we don't know for what positions, no?
Yes,
who for what?
I think there are enough scenarios already done, and there are enough sound bites released, such as coming from Secretary Rojas saying that I can still, I've done that, my track record. So he's making reference of the sacrifice he did in 2010. Yes. And to that extent, he was able to contrast himself from the 2.
Okay.
However you put color to the 2, Secretary Rojas is saying, I'm willing to
give way.
Now, whether that would be Poe Rojas or totally not run is another thing that everyone is guessing, because the scenarios are being played as we talk.
But the fact that he couldn't decide yet on whether to anoint Mar Rojas or not, or he couldn't decide who the standard bearer will be for the Liberal Party, does it say anything about maybe trouble within the party? Well,
not necessarily trouble. I think it's more of honoring a commitment you did in 2010 and going beyond the official, because if you take a look at the relationship between Secretary Rojas and the President. The President used to be LDP. He was Deputy Speaker during the time of President Arroyo. He became LP after that call by the LP regarding that the presidency of Arroyo, and then he became LP.
Yeah.
The families are very close, the Rojas and the former president. I think he's valuing that more.
For President Aquino, this is personal.
It is personal. I think it is personal. And that's the reason why it's being made very public. So that whatever that decision is, the stakeholders would agree with it. Very clear, let me just put it on record, that Secretary Rojas and the President are survey-driven individuals. They make decisions based on survey. And that is, I guess, the reason why Secretary Rojas is not declaring anything, because the numbers are not there.
And the statement by Senator Poe.
Yes.
Na gabay at, what term did she use? Gabay, guidance by the people, bosses. Bosses at gabay ng tao, the voice and the guidance of the people, and that's surveys. Now, the other thing that's clear to me is that Senator Cheese and Senator Poe are not looking at any other party outside of the Liberal Party.
True. And I think that is very wise of them, considering if you're with the Liberal Party, you have the machinery and the money.
What about the UNA? Doesn't UNA have the machinery and the money?
I think it's more of not being associated with the issues raised against the Vice President. Because again, if you look at it, Jing, you know that they were once part of the wanted 2007 UNA, the opposition party.
Right.
The TRAB, the administration party then. They used to be part of the opposition. Now, because of politics, they're now separate ways, and the two have decided to cast their lot on the incumbent.
Very interesting. You mentioned a little while ago, I want to go back to it, not running at all. Are you talking about Mar Rojas not running at all? Possibility as a possibility?
Yes. If you take a look at the way Secretary Rojas made the decision to run for the Senate in 2004, there were several timelines that he passed. He was very ready in 2000.
Right.
He was very ready in 1998. But he did not pursue. And it was only in 2004 that he felt he had the right ingredients. So my sense here is he is doing his work, he's going around. People say that's already politics, campaigning, but he's distributing programmatic things to the local government. So my sense is the numbers will be there if these scenarios are played out evenly.
The numbers enough for another dinner and enough for the three to decide.
I don't think the country is willing to wait for another dinner.
Anyway, enough to decide for a Rojas-Poe tandem. Or is the trajectory telling us from the first two surveys that it most likely may be a Poe-Rojas tandem?
Well, that card is being played also. What I want to disabuse our viewers is that there's such a thing as pre-campaign and campaign. You open by saying campaign work is really serious work.
Right.
If you do your pre-campaign, the 90-day will just be muscle memory.
Right.
You test all your messages, you put your coalitions together, you build your platform, and hopefully you get the right people in your campaign team. That's things that we do pre-campaign. Now, the other problem that you need to look into is that the candidate does not pick too soon or heating up too soon.
Did Villar peak too soon in 2010?
Yes, I do believe that. In fact, they were so tired trying to catch up with the then candidate Benigno Aquino that by day one of the campaign period, they thought they won already, when actually it was just statistically tied.
Can we talk about the issue of winnability or likability, especially with Mar Rojas? This is clearly an issue that the LP cannot ignore. Can they still do something?
Oh, I guess you have to present Secretary Rojas as a CEO. He is not inspiring for the simple reason that the 2004 branding was not sustained. Had that been sustained,
What branding was this?
the Mr. Palengke,
Okay.
if there were policy reforms or legislative initiatives
Okay.
leading into what is Palenkonomics, how will the market, both the physical and the economic, improve, that would have been better for him. What he realized under that platform was murang gamot. Then it was all other issues. So the danger I see with Secretary Rojas coming from the 2004 baseline, although that is senatorial and that's just like 1 out of 12 and this is presidential one-on-one, your base votes are not there. I was surprised when the first poll was taken in this effort that he was single digit from 2004 where he got 40%. What happened to that base? So essentially, you've got to be inspiring. He has to be endearing. And to a certain degree, less package this time and be more like probably a CEO.
You're talking about packaging. A lot has to do with platform and program and plans. Among the people we're talking about, Vice President Binay, Senator Grace Poe, Secretary Rojas, and Chis Escudero, who has a platform and what are they talking about?
Well, that is not clear. What is clear is for LP, it's continuity, whatever that means. And they
Yes.
need to define that and articulate that. Because continuity can be everything and not anything for the voter.
Yeah.
And continuity, part of the issue of continuity, how much to a certain extent is Rojas or Poe, whoever will be endorsed.
Yeah.
In terms of the vice president, I think he has been, some people were saying, very undisciplined group. I think they're testing messages.
You're talking about Una.
About Una.
Undisciplined in terms of...
Undisciplined in terms of
Messaging?
messaging.
Okay.
But actually, when you get to connect the dots, it's essentially testing several messages and seeing what resonates to the people and
Chief
getting
of which
them
is
in.
what? What do you see?
Chief?
As a chief message.
Well, I'm
Of
sorry.
Una.
Of Una?
Yeah. The chief message of Una.
Well, it's for the poor, masa.
Okay.
It's basic services.
Okay.
It's the social safety net, I think, is very clear in what they said. It is also clear that international relations, I think, is very important for the vice president since he was able to go around as vice president and really build networks and relationship with other leaders of other countries.
Go ahead, Mike.
Una has been hitting the administration, particularly Vice President Binay. Do you see this resonating with the people, the constant criticism of the current administration?
Yes, because there are issues out there which have not been answered adequately by the administration. When you say conditional cash transfer and you see there are more poor or more hungry, then there's a big question to that. When you see MRT, again, basic services, suffering, people stepping out and walking on the tracks to go down, that is basic services. When you see the LTO through the license and the plates, those are basic services.
But don't you think the people would want to hear about solutions instead of just criticism?
I think the timing there is really coming very, very near the filing. Some may not want to release too much of information so that they maintain their competitive edge. But to a certain degree, I think this campaign will bear more on issues than on personalities.
There's all this talk about the Liberal Party splintering, Malou.
True.
It is?
And I think that's because there are people in the Liberal Party who would want to go with the popular candidate who has the numbers. Some would say what Secretary Ross is experiencing is low burn, and you're not even sure if the numbers will be there come P-Day.
Okay.
So my sense is, yes, popularity can get you to the office, but governance is very important coming after 6 years of President Aquino.
Do you think that people will vote in terms of governance? At CNN Philippines, we'd like to encourage people to answer the question, what do I vote for instead of who do I vote for. So what should people be looking out for?
I think jobs is very important. It resonates. I was surprised that health is number 4. So there's jobs. It's economics, the top 3. Then you have education and health. Corruption is 5th. So it tells a lot about the way we appreciate politicians. That I think what resonates is lahat naman sila may issue. But what is good for me? Again, Jing, the message is campaigns are not about candidates. They're about voters. And the sooner our presidential candidates understand that and roll their sleeves and start working and putting together an agenda, that serves well Juan de la Cruz.
Publicus is coming out with a finding today. Can you give us an overview of what you found out?
It's a psychographic survey.
What does that mean?
Compared to demographics, which is gender, age, socioeconomic status. Here, we want to look at the interest of voters, their attitudes, their belief systems. And in this psychographic survey, we had 1,500 respondents nationwide, only for 17 to 45 years of age.
Why?
Why? Because they constitute 66% of the total registered voters of the country. Meaning, these are millennials. And it's very hard.
17 to 45 millennials?
I thought I was... we're like Generation X tail end, according to my statistician.
All right.
So
That's new, huh?
It's very hard to get them involved.
Why?
Because their language is different. Some are what they call that, computer natives. There's a term for that. I'm not part of that generation. So, not involved at all in politics, they do not like. But they have values like, if I don't vote, this is for country. And I'm surprised that for them, democracy is very important for the country to move on.
Techies daw.
Techies, yeah. So nakakagulat yung mga findings, and we wanted it to be psychographics because candidates should start learning sino ba botante ko, who are they, where are they on an issue, what makes them, how do they value trust, what for them is an expression of trust, how should a candidate be endearing, instead of the whole campaign being candidate-centric. We want the voters to come into the fray and start saying, even to a mere survey, these are the values that we hold dear. These are our interests. These are our belief systems. Where are you there, Mr. Candidate? So this is a second attempt of a psychographic survey. The first attempt was in 2009, which was commissioned. This one is non-commissioned, and my company really spent our savings just to get this out and tell everyone, hey, you got to listen to Juan de la Cruz.
2009 to 2015, how big a change about the way people engage issues about the country and their own lives?
Very important for them to get involved in politics, but jaded in the process.
Get involved, but jaded in the process.
Yes, because what is PCOS? How do I get my vote? What is biometrics? So lumabas yun doon sa survey. Do you believe in surveys? To a certain degree, hindi, because they know there are issues about surveys. But will you vote according to surveys? No. We even measured whose endorsement do you value? Family. And there was a question, part of the attributes that we tested was, what is the impact of the endorsement of the president on a presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate? According to them, 13% would follow. 13.
Okay.
From the 17 to 45.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that lower than before? Did you ask the same question before?
It is, that was 2009. It was higher than before. Because before was President Arroyo.
Okay.
So the issue of corruption was
put more weight on President Aquino's endorsement.
Yes, there's in fact a view that President Aquino is least corrupt.
Okay.
So To a certain degree, if you put the dots together, you get the sense of the psyche of the Filipino voter.
Okay, outside of UNA and LP, where are all the other parties in all of this?
Okay, I think there'll be more coalition, especially once you go below local. Local, there'll be more local parties just to free themselves from the national
From the
entanglements.
national,
I think we still might have one more to join the fray at the presidential level. Coming from another party, probably
Okay.
the Nacionalistas.
Okay.
So really holding on the coalition is very, very hard, especially once things become more clearer on whom the president will endorse.
Well, the other guys are Bongbong Marcos and Duterte.
Yes, yes.
So where are
Duterte
they?
doesn't have a party unless he goes with PDP Laban. Problem there, machinery and money.
Right. So we're in July right now. Everybody who has money is airing their own commercial, and Chairman Andy Bautista said nothing can stop them from airing their commercials.
Which is sad,
Which is sad.
because it makes everything so expensive.
Does it unlevel the playing field?
Yes, because only those with money can do
So may
saturation.
So may affect siya.
Oo, saturation. And this is not included. Your pre-campaign is not included in the campaign limits.
So that means this is helping Alan Peter Cayetano?
That's another problem because he has introduced, I think, 4 types of ads. And now he's more focused on a target audience, which is the youth, on education, and more pleasing. I don't know if it will redound to
So
an
you're saying he
uptick.
has too many messages?
Yes.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to the findings of your survey, Malou, sometime today. All of media will get it?
I think we made it exclusive to
Yes,
CNN
but others will have access
and
to
Manila
it,
Times.
to the data.
Yes,
Okay.
they're invited this
All right,
afternoon.
okay. Malou, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you
And
with
this won't be the last toolkit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malou.